אתה בסדר? אתה בסדר? וואו. מטה.
מי אתה? לאן אתה עושה לנו? פה! אחי, אני לא יודע מה אתה מצלם, אבל בוא, תתרחק, כי יש פה סכנה. אבל אמרו למשטרה לא להיכנס, אמרו לך לא להיכנס. צא בבקשה החוצה. אמרו לך לא להיכנס. צא בבקשה החוצה.
This is Dabu 7, and the strikes have begun on Iran, and Iran has returned fire on multiple different countries, including Dubai, Bahrain, Kuwait, Israel, and you can see here the destruction from some of those strikes, and there's more ongoing. The very first strike of this epic fury, as they dub it, was aimed at the Ayatollah and his compound. You can see right here that they struck, and they're not sure if he was there or not. A lot of people saying that he was not. They believe he's in a deep underground bunker with some generals here trying to survive this onslaught of strikes. Now, they're saying that 2 generals have been killed in this. There's no confirmation on none of this, but this is just what they're saying right now. That right there is Mohammad Pakpour. He was the commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard. They're saying that he has been eliminated in the strikes as well. And again, the first strike was targeting Khomeini. This here is the presidential palace in Tehran that was struck. and the strikes are ongoing. They are stating that this is a kind of dual strike with Israel and the United States both launching strikes on different cities within Iran. So key places have been hit, and it looks like this is going to extend out for some days unless some kind of peace agreement is brought upon. But many are saying that all the peace talk is just stalling out. That's all it was doing to begin with. It allowed the U.S. and Israel to get into position to be able to strike Iran to begin with. And at this point, Iran is vowing big-time blowback, saying that they're about to strike back big time on Israel and U.S. bases. U.S. bases in the region in Bahrain have been struck and hit, although they're saying there's no casualties there. Russia is warning that there can be a radiological disaster come out of all this. And you can see in this clip, way out there is a U.S. Tomahawk missile flying by, and there's another one. And another one that went by right there. So you've got Tomahawks on the move out there, big time missiles. You've got bombs dropping all over. And in reality, this is an open war, and anywhere can get hit. The fact that America sits around all day acting like it can never get touched, I think we got another thing coming. Whether it's a setup or not, it just feels like with all this going on that we're destined to catch some kind of strike, some kind of blowback from all this. But they're popping off missiles everywhere. It has begun here with this Operation Epic Fury, as they dub it. And I expect to see more action. I don't think that they're just going to lay down at this point. But I will update as more happens.
Breaking news. Shalom, giving all praise, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh. Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachak, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and heroes of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and wherever you may be, and wherever you may be, to you I say Shalom, Meshua, Shalom. Alright, I'm going to be super brief here. I expected to go into Ezekiel 39th chapter today at camp, but I had a visitor, so, I just kind of went with the spirit there. So I didn't get really to talk about anything I wanted to talk about concerning, the prophecies of this World War III and what just happened over, the wee hours of the morning with Iran and the state of Israel and America launching the what was it called, the Epic Fury campaign, and then state of Israel launching also at the same time simultaneously their own campaign known as I think it was the Roaring Lion, right? Because they both have their own I might actually still have those here. Let me see if I can find it, because I looked into them earlier. Okay, yep. So Operation Epic Fury in the Middle East. So and I'm not trying to get too deep into that. And then Netanyahu and gang launched their own campaign jointly together with them, or simultaneously with America, known as the Roaring Lion. Okay, and because they have both. I mean, they're in sense they still have one agenda, but they also have certain other things that they want to accomplish. And then, of course, as the scriptures say, the least of the flock shall draw them out, and the least of the flock is talking about the Israelis. Okay, drawing out America into here we go, the top. Netanyahu, the era of oppression ends today. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu delivers a historic. I sound like that foreigner. Netanyahu. Netanyahu delivers a historic address as Operation Lion's Roar begins, announcing a joint U.S.-Israeli campaign to dismantle Iran's nuclear ambitions and terror infrastructure. Netanyahu calls the Iranian people to seize their destiny and overthrow the yoke of tyranny for a free, peaceful future. Alright, poppycock, because everybody's a terrorist, and this is old tyranny and terrorist, and these are the worst people. Everybody except for you people, you Edomites, man. But anyways, so there's that. Lion's Roar was Israel's campaign, and Operation Epic Fury was America's campaign, and they launched them jointly together. All right, now going back to this. So it says Trump says Iran's supreme leader Khamenei is dead. Now, as to whether or not this is true, we don't know. We just have to see him pop his head out. If he's still alive, he will do so at some point, I'm pretty sure, or something about something will show up about that information. Now, as far as on the other note, let's say that they actually, destroyed him in these attacks, which that will be a very interesting turn of events, but it will also lead up to prophecy. Now, I believe that there is, because we have a couple news clips, as we always do. There was one of their top generals, and we just recently saw this guy, and they're saying that this top general was deleted in those strikes on Khamenei's compound. And they're also saying, can't substantiate the evidence, but they're saying that Khamenei was also deleted, but we don't know yet. No one really knows yet. Which I think, like others, have been saying, I think same thing myself. He's probably underground. If he's not deleted, he's most definitely underground. I mean, he's showcasing missile cities underground. So why do you think that he would not have a compound for himself and his family, all right, and any close confidants that he's dealing with, for whatever reason, underground? So that's very possible that he's not deleted, but he's underground. But with the narrative that he is deleted, it says Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed in an Israeli strike Saturday as part of a massive joint military operation between the U.S. and Israel, President Trump said Saturday. So just the fact that only comes from President Trump, it just has to be fact-checked all the way around. It says Trump celebrated Khamenei's death in a post on Truth Social, calling him one of the most evil people in history. But what about you Edomites, man? Come on now. And saying his killing, and we're not advocating for these people or any nation except for the nation of Israel, but and we wouldn't get on our own people, because that's the main thing. But come on now, everybody except for you guys, right? And saying his killing was justice for Americans and others killed by Iran over the decades. Okay, I was looking too, because I don't want to read what we don't need to read. Trump appeared to confirm the U.S. intelligence played a direct role in tracking and targeting Khamenei, saying the Ayatollah was unable to avoid our intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems. He warned that bombing would continue uninterrupted throughout the week or as long as necessary to achieve what he called the goal of peace throughout the Middle East and indeed world. And there's not going to be peace in the Middle East. There's going to be war, even until Yahushua comes. But when Yahushua comes, he's going to end all those wars, because he's going to take over, and there's no such thing as Middle East. All right, there's Asia over there. But just to stay on point, it says he warned that. Actually, we just read that. So, yeah, Trump claimed Iranian security forces and Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps members were already seeking immunity, and urged them to peacefully merge with Iranian patriots. And this doesn't necessarily line up with the news that we're seeing, all right, with the continued bombing and the things of that nature that are going on. So as of now, it's just talk, and we will see what happens if this man is going to pop his head out or not. Because if he pops his head out, obviously he's not dead, okay? And I'm pretty sure there ain't gonna be no clone. So we don't know if this is true or not. It's just being said there. Okay, those confirmed killed include Khamenei's top security advisor, Ali Shamkhani. And if you see this guy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Commander Mohammed Pakpour, Defense Minister Aziz Nasir-Zadeh, Khamenei's Chief Military Secretary Mohammad Shirazi, Head of Iranian Military Intelligence Salih Assadi, Chairman of the SPND, Iran's Nuclear Weapons Research Organization Hossein Jabal Amalian, former SPND Chairman Reza Mozaffari Nia, right? So on and so forth. So, like I said, as of now, it's just talk. We don't know if the guy's dead or not, especially now if Trump is the one saying it, of all people. But to close it off here, in the scenario that he is dead, just like his top general and other men, it's very interesting, because then the certain prophecies are going to slowly start to play themselves out according to World War III. And the main prophecy is the microchip, and that's the prophecy before the nukes fly. but World War III is pretty much just about to be, you know, underway. All right, it's, you know, the load is slowly rolling these things out. So yeah, Second Esdras 15 and 29. Then in the east, this is the GMT. Then in the east, you will suddenly see a fearsome sight. Arab armies with many chariots will advance like dragons. As soon as they start out, the sound of their hissing will spread across the world and bring fear and trembling to everyone who hears it. The Carmenians, which are the Iranians, modern day Persian of the Iranians, will come out of the forest in a fierce rage like wild boars, advancing in full strength to attack the dragons. With their tusks, they will tear up a large part of Assyria. But the dragons will unite their force, regain their former strength, and win the victory. They will turn and pursue the wild boars, who will be thrown into panic, beaten into silence, and forced to turn and run. Alright, the wild boars will be ambushed in Assyria, and one of them will be killed. This will bring fear and panic to their army and indecision to their kings. Now, this is why I lean more on, I don't think he's dead, because there's certain steps that have to take place. These people have to actually come out and actually do battle. And then it says the dragons of Arabia, right? They have to engage in battle, be pushed back, and someone's killed. So, you know, there's many elements that just don't line up with just saying this guy's dead. All right, we need proof. Okay, but the factual thing is that America and Israel both launched joint operations together against Iran. Iran retaliated. And it's just initial fire. Nothing has gotten heavy yet. But now, this is something I want to talk to at camp. Hold on, bear with me. Alright, so yes, I want to talk about this at camp, but I didn't get a chance to. So you have, you know, they call everybody a terrorist, wicked, this, that, and the third thing. And the Israelis struck, okay, and I want to go into this at camp. I want to bring out a few scriptures back. Actually, I did get into a couple of those scriptures. The prophecy about us, remember, you know, Amalek, how they smote the hindmost of you, killing the men, the women, and the children in the rear. And then you see that playing itself out with, you know, how they were treating the Palestinians. They were killing old people, young people, babies, all right, bombing children, bombing food, you know, the food supplies, bombing people who are trying to get to the food supplies. All right, so you see the same tendencies play over and over and over. And so these Israelis actually struck a what was it? I forget what it was, because it was earlier today. A girls, some kind of girls facility. And I think they deleted 40 people. But it's the same tendencies over and over and over with these Edomites, man. Those in particular, those Edomites are Amalekites, man. They kill the women, the children, the babies, because these are heartless people. They you know, what is Ezekiel? Sith blood has Sith thou has not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. Or Sith thou has not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. All right, they were given a great sword to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another, and that's what they do best. So you see their same tendencies, even from the Old Testament to real live events, them still doing the same thing. All right, so, you know, just something small there, but I just want to point out that, because these lineages and these scenarios are very important, because nothing new is under the sun. So this is a little bit of prophecy here that we just read, but it doesn't add up with the article saying that he's dead. Now, once again, we don't know if he's dead, we don't know if he's alive. We JT say, we don't believe you, we need more people. Well, we don't believe you. All right, we need evidence to see this guy's alive or dead or whatever, because what we do have is what the prophecies say, so we know how things are going to play out according to prophecy. And it doesn't mean that Khomeini is going to be the one to be deleted. It is very interesting that his top general was, but you know, you get the point. So I just want to talk about that briefly, but I'm going to leave it at that.
Israeli military claims to have struck a series of targets in Iran's most senior security and defense figures, including the Supreme Leader's top advisors, commanders of the IRGC, and officials linked to Tehran's missile and nuclear programs. Now, Israel says that senior Iranian officials are amongst those being targeted include the likes of Ali Shamkhani. He was the secretary of Iran's Defense Council. He was described as a central figure in Iran's security decision-making process and a close personal advisor to the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on security affairs. And also amongst those who have been killed is Aziz Nasirzadeh, Iran's defense minister. He was reportedly responsible for the long-range missile production facilities and weapon systems transferred to Iran-backed groups. Another key figure, Mohammad Pakpour, is amongst those who have been killed. He's been the commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps since June 2025. He was identified as one of the key architects of what Israel has described as Iran's plan to destroy the State of Israel. Salah Asadi, the head of intelligence for Iran's emergency command, involved in shaping Iran's strategy towards Israel and the United States and as extensively active in the plan to destroy the State of Israel. Mohammad Shirazi, who headed the military office of Khamenei since 1989, has also been killed. He is said to be responsible for coordinating between the senior armed forces commanders and the supreme leader. So less than 24 hours into the ongoing attacks on Iran, Israel has made a big claim. It is saying that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed. However, Iran is saying that the country's supreme leader is firmly commanding the field and is alive. As uncertainty persists over Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's state, let's in fact take a look at the structure of power in Iran. The entire system of governance centers around the Iranian supreme leader. He commands control over 4 key components of the government. The supreme leader is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Men serving the Islamic Revolutionary Guards, or the IRGC, and the Artesh report directly to the supreme leader. And after the supreme leader comes the president and the Guardian Council, who serve as the executive head and the constitutional gatekeepers respectively. The president oversees National Security Council, and all the laws passed by the parliament must be approved by the Guardian Council, who directly report to the Ayatollah. Now, Ayatollah Khamenei's close confidant and National Security Chief Ali Larijani is the main man when it comes to all things diplomacy as well as war efforts. Larijani is the former IRGC commander who has served in many positions in the Islamic Republic since 1980. And after 8 years in the IRGC, he was appointed as the Minister of Culture in 1992. He then headed the official broadcast network of the Iranian government for over a decade. In 2005, he was appointed as the Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Council. From 2008 till 2020, Larijani served as the Speaker of the Parliament. And last year, he was reappointed to the National Security Council by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Ali Larijani is considered to be a key figure in putting down the January protests in Iran. And according to reports, he has sidelined President Masoud Pezeshkian and is leading the diplomatic, security and military operations under the direct authority of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Larijani is now facing a task to ensure stability within Iran while also managing diplomacy and war efforts simultaneously.
هاي شفت القاعدة؟ هاي واحد قريب علينا هذولا ابعد عن سيارتي اضرب ايش قلت لك القاعدة هي وين؟ ها واحد وقع تحت هاي شفت الثاني وقع هناك ايوه هي طلع هي الثاني طلع هي الثالث طلع الرابع طلع الخامس طلع هي في السقف هناك هي هذا جاي هذول جيات ايوه هي ضربوا هي واحد هون هي هذا نازل عليهم صح هذا نازل عليهم ايوه هذا ما جوش حدا ولعت هذا ما جوش حدا هذا ضربوه هاي ضربوا هاي ضرب الثاني هاي هذول طلعوا
دون قالين
هاي هذا راح نزل
شوف الضوء بس بيصير في الضوء ها
ترى
1 2 3
US military yun
ولعت
military
العب
بس ابشرك هذاك اللي وقع هناك وين راح؟ هاي شوف هناك 2
lakas
الله اكبر
Here's a breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, a shocking claim spreading like a wildfire across the entire world. Well, reports have suddenly surfaced suggesting that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the powerful supreme leader of Iran may have been killed. That's right, the claim came from a senior Israeli official who told the media house that Khamenei's body had allegedly been disappeared in Tehran after a series of intense strikes by Israel. If that is true, then this would mark one of the most dramatic moments in the Middle East history. The death of the man who has ruled Iran for decades and shaped the region's geopolitics from behind the scenes. But you know what? Here is where this whole story, it takes a sudden turn. Almost immediately after this whole claim began circulating, Khamenei's own office kind of pushed back strongly. Officials dismissed the reports as completely false. According to them, this whole narrative is nothing more than psychological warfare that is being waged by Israel and the US. Well, Iranian authorities urged the citizens not to believe what they described as enemy propaganda and called for unity at the same time when tensions are allegedly running dangerously high. Well, this whole confusion, it kind of reflects just how chaotic the whole situation has now become. Well, over the past few hours also, explosions have reportedly rocked several strategic locations in Tehran, including the compounds believed to be home of senior Iranian leadership and their security officials. Now, these strikes are being linked to an alleged joint military operations involving Israeli and American forces. While again, there is no official confirmation that comes from Washington or Tel Aviv, speculations are spreading rapidly across the global media and social networks. But the question is, why this matters? Because Khamenei is not just another political leader that we are talking about. As Iran's supreme leader since 1989, Ali Khamenei had been ultimate authority in the country, overseeing the military, reshaping their foreign policy, guiding the powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Well, his influence extends far beyond Iran's border here, reaching allied groups and governments across the Middle East. Now, any confirmation about the news of his death, it would send shockwaves across the entire world. And that is why the entire world is watching every single development with intense scrutiny. On Times XP right now, I'm telling you, two completely very different narratives are colliding here. On one side, there is claim that strikes succeeded in eliminating Iran's most powerful figure. The other one insists that this is nothing more than a coordinated attempt to destabilize entire Iran through rumors and psychological warfare. Well, in a moment like this, information itself becomes a battlefield, right? Government issues statement. In the meantime, intelligence agencies remain silent. And of course, there's social media. Social media floods with videos, claims, counterclaims. And in the middle of all of this, there are millions of people who are trying to figure out what is real and what is not. But you know what? One thing is certain here. The stakes couldn't be higher here. Not just the Middle East, but the entire world. But if the reports turn out to be true, then the consequences, it is going to be severe, potentially triggering a wave of retaliation and escalating the already fragile confrontation between Iran, Israel, and the US. However, for now, the truth, it remains uncertain. The rumors continue to spread, the denials continue to grow, and the world waits for clear confirmation about the fate of one of the most powerful and one of the most controversial figures, rather leaders in modern geopolitics.